Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the daily Trade the Chain crypto update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Friday, January 20th, and we are rounding out the week for U.S. markets. Of course, crypto will still move during the weekend as it always does, but let's see what we can glean from U.S. markets before they close up shop later this afternoon, and see what crypto may have in store for us this weekend. It's been looking very positive, at least to start the morning. So what we noticed about DXY, it is ranging. It is flat. It has not broken higher or lower since Wednesday, when it had, a small or swing failure pattern really on both sides. It's a very flat pattern for DXY. We did mention if it was flat, we would likely see risk assets move higher. And it does look potentially positioned to also move lower, which would also support the notion that risk assets may move higher. We, of course, don't have any indication of that other than, a swing failure or an ugly 4-hour doji, which will typically end up forming lower, but we still have this previous daily close at 102. So if this keeps ranging into the weekend, I would expect risk to have a check mark in a box for bullishness. So let's keep that in mind as we move forward. These were the lines I drew for the Trade the Chain community. If you're in the Trade the Chain community, you would know that I was feeling bullish this morning, and that provided equities broke above the 39.20 level, that crypto would flourish. That did happen. So now we're at the 200 estimated moving average on the 1-hour chart. So this will likely act as resistance, but we do have a bit of a gap up here. So I would be shocked if equities did not at least try and tag 39.50 as we head into the weekend. That's not guaranteed, but I would be shocked if it, in the next, how many more trading hours do we have? We have like 5, 6, 7 trading hours left today. So still plenty of time for that to move higher. And I think that would be likely, although, you are getting a bit extended at this point for any immediate bullishness. We could see maybe a tap at 39.30 again before moving higher, but I have a feeling this will end up higher eventually. Looking at Bitcoin, this thing could break 21.5 while we're on this stream. Bitcoin does look very strong. I said, if we can stay above the previous daily close, you've got 21.5 as a target. You flip 21.5, you start targeting 21.9 and 22.5 as your next bull targets. Now, it is important to note that probably a lot of zealous longers will be taking some action around 21.5, as well as shorters, making it a very volatile area where I'm not entirely sure we will see an immediate crack through. I know I did make a joke, a few seconds ago, but typically you won't see this immediately slice through. We did previously. And just to note, we do have very strong buys coming in. We have very equal perp and spot buying, which is very positive for a continuation. So that is plausible. But typically, I will always recommend waiting for a pullback, not getting overzealous. A pullback, I think 21,250 is a great kind of retap and rise level where we could see some volatility around that. But again, if you get above 21.5, 21.9, 22.5 are your targets. If you get rejected at 21.5, which is plausible, then we will likely end up heading down to 20.6 with a, potentially a catch at 21 flat, where we saw a lot of trading around yesterday. So with that in mind, looking at Ethereum as well, very similar formation compared to equities and Bitcoin. If you get above 1600, you've got 1650 as a next target, and all the way up to really 1760 if this thing gets some gusto. And then, of course, very much like Bitcoin, at resistance, you'll see a lot of bets being placed, which means volatility is likely. So if 1600 fails, you're back down to likely 1515 with a catch around 1550. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these lines just to demonstrate it for you. Get above, there's your routes. Get rejected right here. Maybe come down like that. And then, if we get down here, we have, potential long in that range. And then, if we close above 1600, then you've got, a lot of room to move higher. So moral of the story here is, I would continue to watch equities throughout the day. if this closes weak, meaning we immediately sell off and close beneath 39.10, very bearish in my opinion. That is not a good sign. If you can continue higher towards 39.50 and hover between 39.36 and 39.50 for the close, that's a pretty good sign. And that will likely equal, potentially higher highs for crypto. But I would say, given the expectation, if we're not immediately really slicing through yet, if we're stalling with an oversold RSI in the lower time frames, my guess would be retap at the recent highs from this morning and last night, meaning, that 21.2, 21.25 area will likely serve as a good bounce catalyst if it holds. And then alternatively, that 21.1 level should act also as a catalyst. You could seep down in there and still be bullish. Really, the moral of the story is we want to stay above the weekly VWAP into the weekend. That would give us some gusto to move higher. Same thing for ETH. The weekly VWAP is 1562 right now. We want to see price stay above that for likely bullish continuation. So, nothing too special for this weekend. We got our rise this morning. We got a great trade. I have a feeling continuation is going to be in the cards, but equities have to participate. And I think crypto, or I think Bitcoin and Ethereum, need a bit of a rebound, meaning a drop to a little support. And finding some footing before a move higher. That would be my opinion. I'm not longing this level yet. If we confirm a break above resistance, I will then enter a long, but I would prefer to enter another long, around here. And most of the time I'm typically scalping. I do know a lot of people that have swings, believing that we are going to move much higher, potentially 22, potentially 24K. That is a very common thread in my chat groups and discussions right now. But typically, I would like to take money off the table when I can, as I prefer to compound, day over day with how active I am. But, if you did long this morning, wouldn't be the worst idea to hold for potential continuation, as that potential tap is only $100 away. And if we end up just zooming higher, then you've got a good bet already. So, up to you, but personally, I will be entering my next trade, near the highs of Thursday. Exactly. Near the highs of Thursday. It's the easiest way to say it. So good luck. Happy trading. Oh, quickly, major economic stuff for next week. Let's see what we have. So we have some PMI data that'll be interesting on Tuesday. Not too much volatility, but it'll definitely move the market very early in the morning. We have GDP estimate, which will be very interesting to see because, recession is the big buzzword right now. And if GDP is estimated to go negative or go flat, as, some pundits have, that's probably not going to be good for the market. So something to watch out for next Thursday. And then we also have PCE on Friday. Oh, crap. I'm pretty sure there is a Fed meeting coming up as well next week. Jerome Powell speaks in Sweden. There should be FOMC meeting schedule. I thought January, February. Okay, so 2023 February. So that was 2022. So the 2023 FOMC meetings are January 31st to February 1st. So for some reason I had this number still stuck in my head. So apologies for that scare. Next week we have PMI and we have GDP, very important numbers, as well as PCE. I would say GDP and PCE much more important. PCE is not going to go crazy, but it will bring volatility. And could halt or start momentum. So very interesting one there. We'll cover that more next week. And then looking, we can't see, out one more week, but the next FOMC meeting is the last day of January and first day of February, and we will get the rate hike announcement on the first day of February. So about 2 weeks from now, a little under 2 weeks from now, we will know the next rate hike, and definitely that will be a very interesting week. So next week may be the last week of fun before we head into FOMC, where people might start pulling some cash off the table. So good kind of macro understanding to think about going into the weekend. So good luck. Happy trading. I will speak to everybody on Monday. And of course, if you're in the Trade the Chain community, you can get a hold of me or any TTC, top brass very easily. And feel free to reach out on Twitter @TraderNMX. Talk to everybody soon and have a fantastic weekend, by the way.